Hey, first graders, how are you? It's Mr. Marshall at Stony Lane. I have a book that I want to read to you. Are you ready for it? This is a book that I've known for a long time. It's a book that's been around um, probably since I was little. I don't even remember. I've read it so many times. I think I read it when I was a kid too. And maybe you know it, and maybe even your parents know it. But it's called "A House Is a House for Me." Right? We're gonna start reading this, and then we're gonna think about it. A house is a house for me. A hill is a house for an ant. A hive is a house for a bee. A hole is a house for a mole or a mouse. And a house is a house for me. A web is a house for a spider. A bird builds its nest in a tree. There is nothing so snug as a bug in a rug. And a house is a house for me. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Did you ever do that? A coop, that's a house for a chicken. A sty, that's a house for a sow. A fold, that's where sheep all gather to sleep. A barn, that's a house for a cow. It's also, of course, a house for a horse. A kennel's a house for a dog. A dog is a house for a flea. But when a dog strays, a flea sometimes stays, and then it may move in on me. Houses for rabbits are hutches. A house for a mule is a shed. And a castle's a house for a duchess. A bedbug beds down on a bed. Mosquitoes like mud holes or puddles. Whales need an ocean or sea. A fish or a snake may do with a lake. But a house is a house for me. So we're gonna stop right there. Did you notice how this book has like kind of a rhythm? Bum bum ba ba bum ba ba bum 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 ba ba bum ba ba bum, and it always does that, right? It says um, a fish or a snake may make do with a lake, but a house is a house for me. It always sounds like that. And so, one thing you can do as a reader is while you're reading, if you get stuck on a word, you can kind of like think about how this book is singing to you with that rhythm. It's almost like it's singing, right? Let's try this a little bit more. Let's try it. Ready? A shell is a dwelling for shellfish, for oysters and lobsters and clams. Each snail has a shell, and each turtle as well, but not any lions or lambs. Lions live out in the open. Monkeys live up in a tree. Hippos live down in a river. Now do you know about me? It says an igloo's a house for an Eskimo. A teepee's a house for a Cree. A pueblo's a house for a Hopi. And a wigwam may hold a Mohi. A garage is a house for a car or a truck. A hangar is a house for a plane. A dock or a slip is a house for a ship. And a terminal is a house for a train. The rhythm is really helping me read this book. A husk is a house for a corn ear. A pod is a place for a pea. A nutshell's a hut for a hickory nut. But what is a shelter for me? A glove is a house for a hand. A stocking's a house for a knee. A shoe or a boot is a house for a foot. And a house is a house for me. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna let you. Well, let's just keep going. A box is a house for a tea bag. A teapot's a house for some tea. If you pour me a cup and I drink it all up, then the tea house will turn into me. Cartons are houses for crackers. Castles are houses for kings. The more that I think about houses, the more things are houses for things. And if you get started in thinking, I think that you'll find that it's true. That the more that you think about houses for things, the more things are houses to you. Barrels are houses for pickles, and bottles are houses for jam. A pot is a spot for potatoes. A sandwich is home for some ham. Do you hear the rhythm? I really like that rhythm. It makes reading this easier. The cookie jar is home to the cookies. The bread box is home to the bread. A coat is a house for my body. My hat is a house for my head. Perhaps I have started far-fetching. Perhaps I am stretching things some. A mirror is a house for reflections. A throat is a house for a hum. But once you get started in thinking, you think and you think and you think how pockets are houses for pennies and pens can be houses for ink. So I'm using the rhythm and I'm using what I know about this book, right? I'm using the idea that it's about houses and things that go into other things, right? And I'm listening to the rhythm, ba bum ba ba bum ba ba bum 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 ba ba bum ba ba bum, right? You could probably clap it out too. Let's try it. Ready? How peaches are houses for peach pits, and sometimes are houses for worms. How trash cans are houses for garbage, and garbage makes houses for germs. Are you thinking about all of the things that are houses for other things? Do you hear the rhythm? Then you're being a good reader. And envelopes, earmuffs, and eggshells, and bathrobes, and baskets, and bins, and rag bags, and rubbers, and roasters, and tablecloths, toasters, and tins. And once you get started in thinking this way, it seems that whatever you see is either a house or it lives in a house, and a house is a house for me. A book is a house for a story. A rose is a house for a smell. My head is a house for a secret that I never tell. A flower is at home in a garden. A donkey's at home in a stall. Each creature that's known has a house of its own, and the earth is a house for us all. And that's the end. Wasn't that a fun book? All the different things that can be houses for other things. It was really like thinking about that and thinking about the rhythm, the bump, 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 made it so much easier to read. Maybe the book that you're reading has a rhythm to it too. And you can use the rhythm and the idea to read it better. Okay? All right, try that out and I'll see you next time.